Hello people, and today I will talking to you about the great whale, the humongous whale. Of course I'm not talking about a whale, I'm talking about the Great Zeppelin used in World War I in many different ways, mostly used to kill. The creator of the Zeppelin was Ferdinand Von Zepplin. Ferdinand Von Zepplin was a retired German officer. When Ferdinand retired, he created a company and later on created the Zeppelin. Before the Great War, the Zeppelin was mostly used as a commercial transport, normally carrying flights throughout Germany and to United States. When the war started, the German army forced his Zeppelins into battle. A Zeppelin was a really big hot air balloon. A Zeppelin was normally 150 meters long and had a diameter over 18.5 meters. It had a steel framework and it was normally filled with individual hydrogen bags. It was powered with 3 to 6 engines depending on what type of Zeppelin it was. It normally reached a speed of 65 kilometers per hour to 100 kilometers per hour. It reached an altitude of 6,000 meters. It had a crew of 19 to 21 aviators. It had 7 to 8 mounted machine guns. It normally carried 1,800 kilograms or more of high explosive or incendiary bombs. The Zeppelin was put into service because aviation at the time was pretty new and wasn't as reliable. A Zeppelin was more reliable than an airplane at the beginning of the war. The Zeppelin was normally used for reconnaissance and also for bombing raids. Zeppelins were really good at reconnaissance but were not too good for bombing. Normally during bombing raids, Zeppelins were mostly used to scare the living crap out of enemies, cause a big whale dropping bombs on you, terrifying. The first Zeppelin raid was on 1914, January 19, killing 2 and injuring 16. At first, Zeppelins were forbidden from bombing London and other major cities, but that changed really quick. In 1916, the Germans raided London 23 times, dropping 125,000 tons of explosive bombs and killing 293 civilians. At the beginning of the war, Zeppelins were really useful because all the airplanes and all the technology wasn't as good, but as the years progressed, more and more the technology went evolving, and eventually new and improved airplanes and anti-aircraft guns were invented, being able to take down a Zeppelin in just a few minutes. In 1917, Germans stopped using Zeppelins because of the new technology. 77 out of the 115 Zeppelins that were used and deployed in the field were destroyed or completely disabled. By the end of the war, in just Britain, 1,500 citizens had been killed by just Zeppelins. Enough of me talking, now it's gonna be some footage of a taken down Zeppelin. The remains of a great beast.